Capcom. Capcom versus SNK. Millennium Fight 2000. Capcom.
Hello everyone, this is Nick from Arcade Hunters, and this is Capcom vs. SNK Millennium Fight 2000 on the Sega Dreamcast. Now this, of course, was released back in 2000 on the Naomi hardware, so making a port on the Dreamcast was very easy. It was also ported over to the PlayStation 1, but never bothered with that since, you know, if you want the best version of a Naomi game, you go with the Dreamcast. Now, I was a fan of both SNK and Capcom, still am, and this is, you know, I remember going to this one arcade that we had called the Subway. I would play every Street Fighter iteration that came out, and they had a Neo Geo 4 slot, which they would always update with the newest King of Fighters and Art of Fighting games, so I never thought that this game would ever happen, getting both companies together and just having a giant battle royale with both of their characters together. It was just absolutely amazing to get to play this game, and you know, it's cool now that we have Street Fighter Cross Tekken that's coming out in a couple of years. We can't wait to see that. So this was, you know, the very first thing that they got through. You know, we obviously had the Marvel and the Capcom characters getting together, so getting to see two separate companies get together, have their own game, was really cool. Now, this, of course, was all made by Capcom, and there's the SNK games that I'm not going to review. I really wish I could. There was SVC Chaos that came out on the Neo Geo that was also ported onto the Xbox, but I'm not bringing that gigantic machine down here just to review one game. I'm pretty sure that's one of my only arcade home ports on the Xbox. But if you saw my one video review that I did of my favorite games in the series, there's definitely the Card Fighter series, which is very good card game that you can play. They did make a version on the DS, but unfortunately it has some game crippling bugs, so I'm not sure if they ever fixed it, so I don't know if I would bother with that, but definitely if you can get the original, get it. Now, of all the games that came out with this collaboration, I would have to say Match of the Millennium on the Neo Geo Pocket Color is one of my favorites, because even though they were very limited on what they could do, they did put together a really great game, so if you ever do, check that out. Now back onto this game, sorry about that for going off. Now, this game uses 4 buttons. It kind of makes it more familiar for people that are fans of SNK games, so there's only light and strong attacks. I'm not sure if you can press both buttons together to make a hard attack like you can in some SNK games. I'm not sure. I just play it like a SNK style game. Now, the one cool thing they do in this game is they have grooves. Now, over on the left, you can see I'm playing as Blanca. I'm using the Capcom groove for Blanca. And that pretty much makes him play like a Street Fighter Alpha character, where he has 3 levels to build up a super meter. But if you use the SNK groove, it works more like the extra mode in the King of Fighters series in 94 and 98. And what that does is, if you hold down some of your attack buttons, it'll build up the meter on the bottom so you can unleash just one big devastating super hit. So it's really cool to see that you can play the characters differently. You can play, you know, an SNK character like you're playing an Alpha, and you can play, you know, a Street Fighter character like you're playing, you know, King of Fighters and stuff like that. It's really cool. Now, this game has 33 characters. There were characters that you have to unlock, like Evil Ryu and Akuma and stuff like that. But one of the things that they did differently in this game was they used a series called Ratios. Now, what that means is you can have 4 you can have a ratio of 4 that you can build your characters up. There's some characters that are 1, so you can have 4 level 1 characters. There's some level 2 characters, and those are mostly like Ryu and Hyo and stuff like that, like some of the major characters that are level 2. Then you get into the boss characters that are level 3, at, like right here with Rugal from King of Fighters, and there's also the hidden characters that are level 4, so characters like Shin Akuma and Evil Ryu are level 4 and you cannot use any other characters. So it's different to see how you can mix things up and have different characters with different strengths and stuff like that. They did take that out kind of in the sequel that you'll be seeing next, and you know, as there's a grading system that you go through rather than regular points, and you get a final grade at the end of the game based on if you do counters and how you block and how many times you combo and stuff like that. It's pretty cool the way they have it. I've never seen another game that has a grading system instead of, you know, a score and a grade. And one of the cool things was this game did have an update back in 2000. I unfortunately don't have it, and that was called Capcom vs. SNK Pro. And that added in Dan and Joe were new characters, as well as they also added in a couple of new modes and new moves for some of the existing characters. Unfortunately, I don't have the game, so I can't really give you a full report on it, but if you definitely want to check this game out, it was one of my favorites growing up playing it on the Dreamcast, and really good game to play. So up next, we'll have the last video in my Street Fighter review, and that of course is Capcom vs. SNK 2. I'm Nick from Arcade Hunters. Thank you very much for watching.